There's not much they can do. They are on the low ground, and well, our archers have a fantastic position. Hello Reformers, and welcome back to Custom Character Creation. And we are once again met with a siege here at Jelbergi Castle because we need to expand our territory against these Nords. And this is actually one of those castles that I'm not a big fan of. This particular layout is going to be very, very difficult for us. But maybe it's not going to be too difficult when we have so many crossbowmen. And I think I wasn't really clear in the previous couple of episodes of this miniseries to indicate that here's the thing, you can actually go to your town, your main base, and you can be like, okay, I'm gonna change my units around a little bit. You know, we don't have to stay with the exact same setup for our units for the entirety of the series. That's the point. That's what's really, really amazing about this mod. You can just change up whatever you'd like. And whether that means giving your units, you know, a polearm, or maybe switching to bows, or anything along those lines, you can do that. You know, you can do that if you want to. So it is very much player choice in that regard, and that's always nice. I might actually die here. I don't have the best shield ever, so it might make things a little difficult, but I'm gonna try and get my archers into a good enough position so that if I do die, it's not really going to be the worst thing ever. But maybe I'll be able to get up here and maybe do something. No, never mind. It seems like the Nord archers definitely had my number here. I'm hopeful that there is, yeah, there we go. There is actually battle continuation in this mod. It's not completely native, which is fantastic. So yeah, we can now, oh dear. Yes, it's one of these. Okay, I'm not very good at using this particular camera here because you have to use the numpad. It's kind of a bit weird. Don't exactly know why, but yeah, you kind of have to use the numpad, and yeah, you can't use the mouse or anything like that, so it's kind of tricky. But it seems like we've eliminated quite a few units so far, and I think we might just want to let our crossbowmen do a little bit of extra damage to the enemy right now, and then we'll probably think about retreating and coming back in here. Bear in mind that this is, obviously, as you can see, a ladder castle, so it's going to be very easy for us to construct something again. But I don't know whether we really want to go in with the same setup again. So let's actually just retreat here. Oh wow, we only took out 46, really? I actually thought we took out much more than that. As you can see, there are actually 2 vassals here. And speaking of vassals, one of the vassals did get ransomed that was previously in our prisoner hold. So yeah, that's kind of a shame, but anyway, let's get some bashers up here, actually. Let's get some bashers and a couple of elite bashers as well, because we'd like to get those infantry in a little bit quicker, I guess, and maybe that's going to make a bit of a difference in how effective we are. Now, the main reason why I'm actually even... Oh, there we go. We're actually getting a lot of money now from tier. That's really nice. Okay. Now we have enough, actually, for a Weaverian dye works, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, as I was saying, the main reason why I went with this current setup for our units is because, in general, these units are going to be good for basically tackling anything. Maybe with the exception of the Khergits, perhaps? Because obviously the Khergits are going to have a really, really good time of their, you know, mobility. They just have a huge amount of mobility in comparison to most of the other factions. And we might have maybe a couple of difficulties with the Vaegirs if they have a large contingent of marksmen available. But at this point in the game, I don't think they are going to. So if we are able to eliminate the Nords relatively fast, I don't think we'll have any problems with the Vaegirs either. And that was the main reason for my choosing of the various weapons that our units are using, because in the grand scheme of things, I'm not going to be using a polearm-based infantry if we're not fighting cavalry, and we are literally fighting Nords. It's not going to make any sense. So basically, me just going for kind of like a hardier, better version than the Nord Huskarls, that's kind of my thing that I wanted to do. Because if I'm able to do that, then that makes everything much, much easier to defeat the Nords themselves. And as I say, we can always switch it up a little bit and give some of our units a polearm later on if we actually do come across maybe some Swadians that have a huge amount of Swadian knights, which is unlikely at this point, as I say. But maybe we'll be able to do something like that. Unfortunately, I don't have that much in the way of range at the moment with my own character here, with Barney. He's not really good at range right now. He doesn't have any ranged capability whatsoever, which is kind of... What? Did I really get killed by that Swadian skirmisher? That was harsh. That was really harsh. Oh, okay, well, never mind. As you can see, our bashers actually did get onto the battlements, but the enemies are now coming in with their reinforcements. I mean, this is how it's gonna be, you know. When there's a really, really good layout for the defense, it's gonna be really difficult to take it, and you can see that plainly here, you know. It's very, very hard for us to actually get up here, because this ladder, it leads right by the side of these two towers here. And yes, while our ranged units will be able to eliminate most of their ranged units, it's still not enough, really, because they just get reinforcements, and then their archers are able to deal massive damage once again. So it seems like I'm going to have to retreat once more. This is the first time we've actually had some difficulties, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Anyway, let's have a look. Ah, yes, we're doing much better now. Alright, so there are actually very few ranged units remaining. I'm actually going to charge after this fellow if I can. No, he's moving way too... Ah, yes, he's moving... You know why he's moving fast? He's moving fast because Barney is currently low in HP, and oh my, that is not good. Right, we're going to have to pull back and let 13 of our troops go, because I will not be able to do anything here. I need to get Barney back on his feet. And that's an issue. Once I get my pathfinding skill back up and running, we should be able to do everything that we need to here. I think it is back up and running now. Yes, it is. There we go. So that's obviously another thing that I really do need to get on, and that is getting a companion, you know, getting a couple of companions in the fold here, making sure that we actually do have a couple for maybe medicinal skills, maybe pathfinding, maybe something like that, just for a backup, because you never know. And apparently Jarl Olaf is deciding to besiege Tyr. We are not going to allow him to do that, so we're going to go into Tyr and see if we can defend it. Ah, yes, Jarl Galad, he is an old enemy of ours, isn't he? Alright, so I think this actually should be pretty fine. I mean, we have a whole bunch of rangers here, recruits and guards. I mean, the guards are obviously not very good, but everyone else has a crossbow, so it should be relatively easy to fight them off. But obviously this is what we are going to face as a principality start. You know, we're going to face these overwhelming numbers that want to try and take our towns. Now, of course, you know, Jarlbegi Castle, that was kind of a failure on my part, but that's not really anything to worry about. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we are going to be able to take it in time. So let's have a look and see if I can get a couple more people here. We have 9 snipers right now. They're going to be extremely good at what they do. And am I at full HP now, by the way? Yeah, I am at full HP, so technically we could head right in here to attack them on the fields of battle, and I think we're actually going to do that. It's been a while since we've actually done a field battle, because we've just been, you know, on a bit of a besieging spree. But nowadays, I think it would be a good idea to break up the sieging a little bit with a nice field battle. So let's have a look and see what we can do here. We're going to have to make sure that our archers are in a good position. There is a river. I'd like to be able to take advantage of this river, but I don't think I will be able to. Maybe I will be able to. It really depends whether they are going to walk here relatively quickly or not. It seems like there's already someone on this side of the river. Oh, and he just ran into a tree. Is it me? It's me from another universe, apparently, because I tend to run into trees all the time. Hopefully my people will be able to kill him. Yes, hopefully not with your thrown weapons. Could you change to your actual proper weapons, fellows? Yes, okay, well, it seems like we're going to just have to deal with this. Yeah, there we go. An elite marauder was able to eliminate him, thankfully, but yes. Alright, so thankfully, yeah, we were able to get here, or at least our infantry were able to get here in time to defend our archers, because, well, it's pretty close. It's pretty close, but I think we have this in the bag. There's not much they can do. They are on the low ground, and well, our archers have a fantastic position because any infantry, or basically anyone from the enemy that decides to pop their head up above the riverbank is just going to get shot immediately. So that's really, really good. And I'm actually going to tell my archers to charge in now so that they can get into effective range if they need to. I'm going to try and get a little bit of XP here as well if I can. But obviously, as you can see, my horse is absolutely slowed, and it's gonna be kind of difficult to get any meaningful damage from it. And now it's been taken out as well. Oh well, never mind. Hopefully I'll be able to get a new weapon at some point as well. Maybe one of these battles these days is going to give me a nice battle axe or something like that, and hopefully it's going to give me a good amount of shield destroying ability, which is especially good against the Nords, of course. So maybe I'll be able to do that, and otherwise I like to just survive basically, and well, maybe getting another good shield is going to help me out with that as well. I'd like to maybe get a crossbow or something too, because well, we kind of want to be a bit uniform here, don't we, with our units? Try and kind of embody what they're attempting to do as well. Oh, there we go. We actually did get level 5. Very nice. All right. Hopefully we'll be able to continue to get experience, but as you can see, my power strike is so incredibly bad that it really is very difficult to get any damage against these chainmail wearing units. They're just very, very difficult to take out. I mean, I have a slashing weapon as well, so having a cutting or a slashing weapon is not really the greatest. You can thrust with this sword, but it does have much lower damage than, say, an arming sword would have or something like that, so you may need something a little bit better, maybe a blunt weapon to deal with that, or maybe even just a piercing weapon of some kind. Alright, so there you go. We did lose 7, but they were just bashes. I think we can kind of say that we can sacrifice those guys to win a battle against 2 vassals. Pretty nice, and we're gonna continue taking them prisoner if we can. One of them did manage to escape, unfortunately. Okay, so this is actually better than what I have, so I guess I'm gonna swap that out. And believe it or not, but this lordly skull cap is better than what I was wearing. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that is a bit crazy. Okay, so yes, as you can see here, these one-handed axes, they require 9 strength. So it seems like I'm gonna have to do a little bit of strength. And we'll see if I can actually get that. No, it seems like I can't get that just yet. I'm gonna get that eventually, but right now what I'd like to do is just improve our surgery and probably our wound treatment. I'd say that's probably pretty good. First aid's obviously going to be very good, but I think wound treatment at the moment is quite important. Let's level our crossbows a little bit too. And then we'll go back into tier, and I'm actually going to take a couple of rangers. Maybe 40 of them, I guess. Yeah, we'll just take 40 of them, and then we'll just place looters, sea raiders, Vagia archers in here, and hopefully that's good enough. Now, what I'd like to do is also recruit some volunteers here as well, and maybe we can go and speak to our constable and have him actually send out a recruiter. This is probably not going to work out very well, but we'll try it. Let's try and get 20. I don't think it's going to work because the recruiter's probably going to get killed very, very quickly indeed. So let's see if it does. If it doesn't, then not really a big loss, I guess, but it would be nice if it does. Okay, so let's buy some food. Quite a lot of food. We do have a reasonably large army at the moment. And I can just rest here for some time just to make sure that Tyr is now fully secure, because you never know, maybe King Ragnar is going to appear at some point. Seems like it's now no longer under siege. So let's see, what else do I want to get here? Do I want to get some more infantry, or do I want to get some more cavalry? I guess infantry would probably be best for the inevitable sieges that we'll be doing. But obviously for the field battles, the cavalry is very, very effective. So let's just continue getting those. Some more elite bashers right here. How many legionnaires do I have? I only have 4, but I do have 11 snipers. Guess the ranged units were doing a fantastic job. I actually don't have that much money now, as you can see. I only have 1,500, but thankfully every week we are gaining money from our taxes and rents and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I could technically buy Weaverian Dye Works, but I'm a bit worried that we're going to lose prosperity at Tyr, because obviously the 2 villages nearby have been looted, and we're probably going to have some issues with our villagers being stopped and killed and all that sort of thing. So hopefully we will need, or maybe hopefully not need, a nest egg that I am hoping to keep around for now. Otherwise, let's have a look at Jelbege Castle. It's actually not doing too badly. Oh, they seem to have a couple of prisoners from our previous attempt. Yes, well, they do have a couple of archers here as well. Alright, so what we're going to do right now is we're actually going to send in a whole bunch of cavalry as well as infantry, and hopefully that is going to work pretty nicely. Let's send some legionnaires after that as well with some destroyers, and we're going to go for that instead of a crossbow-centric attack force this time around, and we're attacking in the cover of night too. So hopefully that's going to make a difference to their accuracy. And otherwise, 2,000 dinars for Jarl Olaf. Yes, I'm going to be taking that. That's going to be added to the treasury. And let's lead our soldiers in an assault. Unfortunately, it is now dawn, so their accuracy is probably going to be back to relatively normal levels. And hopefully, these destroyers and marauders and bashers and all those guys will show us exactly how powerful they can be. And hopefully, I'm not going to get shot either. This is one of those times where the AI does tend to target the player character quite heavily. And if I die again, well, I guess I've sent my units into a pretty decent place, and if they're able to get through the defenses up there, then I think we'll probably succeed and have victory over this castle. But if not, then, well, I think we will probably lose quite a few units here, which would not be very good. That is the difficulty, of course, as I've said, with creating a principality, because you only have one place, or very few places, to actually recruit your own units in comparison to recruiting from an entire faction. So if you are also creating a principality, which I'd say is probably the most interesting start, just because you are a little bit of the underdog, then, you know, you do have to be a bit careful of that. And as I say, maybe not declare war so quickly as I have. As I say, I probably would have recruited a whole bunch more units before actually launching an attack on a neighboring faction. But so far, I actually feel like we're not doing too badly. We're not seeing a huge amount of casualties. I mean, yeah, you know, we're seeing casualties here and there, but for the most part, we're actually getting a pretty decent amount of kills. I mean, yeah, you know, they're seemingly beating us kind of. We've killed double the amount that we've lost, so I suppose that's not too bad. But if that scales and it becomes, you know, 100 casualties to their 200 or something like that, then that's obviously not very good at all, considering they only have 11 prisoners in the tower here. It's not very good to be like, oh yes, let me just throw 100 casualties at the enemy. That would not be good. So let's see if I can actually get inside here and do some damage. Do bear in mind that I still don't have that much in Power Strike, so I am actually able to do a little bit of damage here if I do my overhead attack. As I've said, overheads are really good when facing enemies that have very little armor on their heads. And reinforcements are now arriving. Okay, so I'm going to have to tell my archers to charge in now, because it seems like... Have they been back there the entire time? I hope not. Well, there we go. Hopefully we'll just be able to eliminate these fellows, and the enemy is now also receiving reinforcements, but thankfully they're not coming up this way. So it seems like we now have a wonderful, wonderful foothold on their battlements, but it's just a matter of us actually keeping it. Do bear in mind the enemy has 42 on the battlefield. We have 63, but we obviously don't have 63 on the battlements right now, so it might be a bit of a problem, and they are receiving more reinforcements. They have another 55 here. I'd like to be able to get a couple of hits in here. I don't really think I'm going to be getting many kills, but as you can see, many of the enemies do appear to be relatively low tier. So if we can take those out and thin the herd, as it were, then we will probably have a much greater chance of achieving victory. Now I'm just hopeful that many of our forces are... Is this guy using a sword? Well, that's not very good. I should probably give my Reformian destroyers something else, even though it is the best weapon for them on horseback. It's not very good in a siege. Well, it's okay in a siege, but it's not great. So maybe I'll have to do something there and maybe just give them a weapon that is good in all circumstances. That might be the way to go. But I think we have this. They only have 23 remaining. Oh, there we go. There goes one of my destroyers, actually dying as well. Even though I'm providing, what is it now? 5 + 1 surgery. So technically we're giving them about well, probably a 40 to 45% chance to actually survive. So I guess it's almost 50-50, I guess. But yeah, I was hopeful that maybe me speccing into medic skills would make a difference. But it seems like... Well, I guess it is making a difference, but not as much as I would have hoped. So I guess that's a bit of an issue, but let's slash at his ankles. Oh, what? He blocked that? Are you serious? Okay, he blocked that up there, even though it was an overhead to slash at his ankles. Oh well, never mind. Okay, there you go. We were able to achieve victory, but as I say, we basically had about a third of the enemy's casualties, so... Quite a costly victory, but one that I suppose is necessary to further our expansion. And we are going to continue taking them prisoner as much as we can. Otherwise, we can now rescue some of our prisoners, which is great. Some of our previous units. And we'll just continue onward. Okay, so these axes, I'd say they're pretty good. I'd say they're pretty good because they do have a bonus against shields, so maybe we'll be able to use that. And there's a nice new helm for us as well. Definitely going to need one of those to prevent us from getting headshot in one hit. That would be nice. There we go, and it seems I've also leveled up. Very good. Alright, so this time, once again, I'm actually going to be giving this to Lord Aedan. If he decides to defect at some point, we're going to be in trouble. But hopefully he's not going to do that. There you go. Alright, so let's plunder it and share the spoils. And there you go. Very nice indeed. I'm very much hoping that Lord Aedan is going to be able to bail us out as time goes on, because if we give him all these castles, all these villages and everything, he's eventually going to have a pretty big army, and a pretty big army consisting of Reformian units, no less. So it's going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure. And with that, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.